He sat at his desk like every other morning, tie straight, smile polite. To his coworkers, he was ordinary, a man who fetched paper from the supply closet and chuckled at bad jokes in the break room. They waved, passed him staplers, and told him secrets without hesitation. But behind his glasses, behind his quiet nods, he counted them. He imagined their insides. He wanted to know the sound their tendons would make if pulled until they snapped. He wanted to hear their screams echo off pine walls. He watched them the way one watches a herd at a distance. Not with hunger, not with immediate violence, but with long, patient calculation. There was the woman who chewed gum until its rhythm matched her keystrokes, the man who laughed too loudly as if sound could hide his loneliness, the pair who whispered together like conspirators. He catalogued peculiarities, calluses on a thumb, the scar behind one ear, the way a smile faded when someone reached for a stapler and stored them like specimens. They lived inside him as precise, intimate curiosities. He loved them for what they could become. The cabin came later, far beyond the last stop of the commuter line, and past the settlement of tired bungalows and forgotten billboards. It sat with the polite insolence of an old thing that had been left alone long enough to remember itself. A square of dark wood, a sagging porch, windows that kept their secrets at night. He called it a retreat to others when they asked. He told himself it was refuge. None of them knew that 2 hours outside the city, the cabin waited. Its basement smelled of copper and rot. Chains dangled like vines. A drain in the center of the floor was clogged with black clots that once belonged to someone who no longer had a name. He had brought others before. A cufflink, a strand of hair, a molar cracked in half, all kept in jars lined neatly on a shelf. His trophies, his history. Today, he stared across the office and watched her, the new hire. She laughed too easily, cheeks flushed, her cardigan sleeves rolled above her elbows. She trusted him already. That was all it ever took. A smile, an offer. You should see my place out by the lake. It's peaceful, peaceful. When she agreed, he almost shuddered with pleasure. The first hour was ritual. Coffee in mugs that balanced on his knees. Talk about the small things that make one human. They walked a path that circled a pond so still it seemed to hold the sky in suspension. He pointed out a heron and watched the way her mouth shaped the name. Soft, ordinary, mortal, and something inside him warmed with a slow, professional pleasure. He saw how she trusted him without asking, how easily she allowed her shoulder to brush his on the trail. It was always the brush that did it, the subtle permission humans give one another by accident. At the cabin, he kept her close, inside the same careful, almost loving schedule he saved for his workday. Food, light, cold water. He observed. He took notes. He liked to watch how fear worked, not the big, immediate scream, but the small rearrangement that settled across a face minutes before panic became noise. He would ask questions softly, as if the answers were gifts. When she hesitated to speak, he would hum the tune of conversation until she surrendered a detail he could keep. A childhood nickname, an uncle's hometown, the taste she preferred for jam. He filed these like files. They were his way of making her belong. That night, the cabin breathed as it always did. The girl's voice grew shrill when she saw the ropes. He liked to listen to the moment panic stripped away the mask of politeness. Her wrists bled quickly as the fibers dug in. The first cut was small, just across the shoulder. He wanted to see the flesh part, to watch blood blossom like ink in water. She thrashed, and her heel cracked against the concrete, leaving skin behind like torn paper. By the time he opened her stomach, she was only a sound. Wet gasps, animal whimpers, then silence. He knelt, hands slick, watching steam rise from the cavity like breath in winter. He smiled at the neatness of it, the beauty of red against pale. Tomorrow he would return to his desk. Someone would ask about his weekend, and he would say, quiet, peaceful. They would smile back, never knowing, and he would watch them, already choosing who would bleed next.